What is up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Today we are here at Lake Julian Disc Golf Course, and we are going to answer the question, which Discmania fairway driver is better, the FD1 or the Instinct? We have two of them, or one of each, both in Lux Vapor, which is my favorite plastic. So we have the Rage Stone and the Royal Rage 2. Let's toss some shots and see which one is the better 7-speed. So you have the Rage Stone, the Lux Vapor FD1, and the Royal Rage 2, which is the, I can't pronounce that name, Leo Puronin Vapor Instinct, which is basically a tour series. Both of these are they're numbered 7402, and for the tour series, this is from their Evolution line, and this is from their Originals line. And Lux Vapor really only comes out in their Evolution line. But for the most recent mystery box editions, they were mixing up plastics and molds. So you got Evolution line plastic with original line molds. So we have the homage to the Royal Rage, the Rage Stone, 7402. The Royal Rage 2 is slightly domier than this Rage Stone. So we're gonna see how it flies. I've thrown this one a couple of times, haven't thrown this ever before. Gonna start off from the middle pad of hole 12 and just gonna play a couple of different tee shots and see which one I think flies a little bit better. Starting off with a backhand turnover. Because I know it better, I'm gonna start with the Rage Stone, and then we're gonna go with the Royal Rage. That was pretty good. Oh, those are so similar. Which makes sense that a company that is pretty spot on with their flight numbers, numbering two different molds, the same flight numbers, and they fly very similarly. That makes a lot of sense. Now, Lux Vapor is already a pretty glidey plastic, and the Rage Stone being a little bit flatter than the Royal Rage, this run of FD1 and this run of Instinct, the Royal Rage is a little bit domier. Domier discs have more glide, and it's already a pretty glidey disc, so I have a feeling that they're gonna go pretty far. The Rage Stone was about 10 feet shorter than the Royal Rage, so let's go toss them on a forehand and see what we can get. All right, Instinct first, and then Rage Stone. They might handle a little bit differently on a forehand. Also, I might have dried them off too much, and now I need a little bit of grip. So, touch of hyzer, because if I throw these flat, I know they're gonna turn a little bit. So I want them to stay like one angle hyzer, maybe flip up a little bit, but pretty much just push straight into the circle. That was very nose up. Little bit of a flip up, but also was a much more line drive and a lot flatter. So didn't really get a good read off of the Rage Stone. That was more user error and less the discs fault. I'm a little bit more consistent over the nose angle on backhand. All right, we're gonna try to go one angle backhand hyzer here. Yeah, let's just rip it. FD1 is first, and then the Instinct. that's a bomb. Flipped up all the way to flat and then rode straight for a long time. And then it dove off. So it's not overstable, but it's stable. It's reliably gonna fade, but you can still get a little bit of distance and a little bit of play out of it versus something that's just up and down. You could tell the dome on that one. Do you see how when it flattened out, it went, and then it started to fade, but it didn't just kind of fade, it kind of faded? That's the dome. That's the glide. That Lux Vapor is very glidey, but if you have a domey disc, it is going to be more glidey than something that doesn't have as much dome, which means that the fade you're gonna get is gonna be a lot pushier. It's gonna be a lot straighter in its fade than something that's a little bit flatter and it just doesn't hold enough air underneath it to stay in the air and give you that push. So it's gonna be a little bit dumpier. Both of those were great shots, but I think the FD1 went straighter, further, and then faded, whereas the Instinct started to fade sooner, but because of how slowly it faded, it got to about the same place, which is a really interesting concept. So this is what I was just saying. Here is the Royal Rage 2, and there's the Instinct and FD1. The FD1 pushed straighter and then it faded a little bit harder versus the Royal Rage, the Instinct, which started to fade sooner, but it pushed on its fade. So even though it started to fade sooner, they went almost the same distance, but one of them is a little further left. So based off of the few throws that we've done today, and hopefully it'll be true for the throw we're about to do, I think that the FD1 is straighter and the Instinct is a little bit more overstable. Now, if you got a Neo Instinct, which is more of their stock run, versus a C-Line FD1, I think the C-Line FD1 might be more stable because C-Line is just a very stable plastic. But if you got an S-Line FD1, I think it would be a good bit straighter and maybe even a little bit flippier than the Instinct. That being said, Discmania is about to start changing up a little bit of stuff, and all of their more overstable molds are going to be transitioned over to their originals line. So we might get the Instinct in the same plastic that we get the FD1 in. And so I think the Instinct is a little bit more stable. So you could bag an FD1 and an Instinct in the same plastics, and one of them would be your straight fairway and one of them would be your overstable fairway. It's a really interesting concept. Don't know if it's necessarily the best idea, and they're practically the same disc but slightly differently. So if you're looking for the same thing but slightly different, maybe pick up the other mold. That being said, we're going to completely disregard the Mando sign and we're going to try to go for max distance. Disregard the Mando sign basically means we're not going to worry about the Mando. We're just going to try to throw it as far as possible. And if that turns into a flex shot that goes a little bit too far right, that's what happens. But Instinct is up first. Let's go for max distance rips here. Well, that wasn't a good throw. That was straight into the ground. That was user error, which has happened a couple times today already. Let's go for a little bit more height under the FD1. Great throws all around today. Again, Lux Vapor is my favorite plastic of all time, and that Instinct is nice. That FD1 is nice. I don't know which one I would bag if I were playing a Lux round. Maybe I would bag both of them. Who knows? It's just probably the FD1 because their new Vapor plastic has a lot more swirls, and it's also pink with a blue sparkly stamp. It's really cool. So if I were to bag one, it would probably be the FD1 mainly because of the color and the plastic. But they're both great molds, they're both great discs, and I don't know which one is better. It kind of depends on what exactly you're looking for. If you enjoy content like this, please make sure to like the video. If you want to see something new, make sure to comment down below, and please make sure to subscribe. It definitely helps you out with these subscriber only giveaways, and it also helps me. And until next time, see you out on the course.